Baozi Training Lead Code solution. If you want the best mock interview experience in North America, feel free to check us out at baozitraining.org. We're here to help you land your next big offer. So today we're going to very quickly talk about a system design interview question, how to design a video platform such as YouTube or Netflix. First thing first, we should follow the methodology called read my friend, or read other things. But you can follow this link. Essentially, it stands for read means requirement, E means estimate, which is your scalability. Because without requirement and estimates of scalability, there's no way we can talk about design, because it's all about requirement and all about your scale. And then after that, we'll talk about architecture. Most likely we talk about in layers, 3 different layers: presentation layer, service layer, and data layer. And D means we talk about detailed about the design. We can dive deep into different components and the miscellaneous things. So whichever ones we want to talk about, we can talk about security, we can talk about logging, anything you're familiar with, you're comfortable with to talk about. And then the last one is future work. So how do you optimize your system? Just remember, there's no way you can design a YouTube in 60 minutes, right? So if you can do that, you will be either like Chad or Steve Chen and Jawad, I think that's his name. Basically, founders of YouTube. They sold it as a company in 2006 for like 1.6 billion. PayPal Mafia guys. Anyways, so I attached the growing the system design interviews, how it's actually a pretty good one, which covers most of the things. Let's see, where's the link? You can see it here. So why YouTube, right? What is the requirement? Kind of like user upload video, view a video. It's very clear. This is estimation part, which is, how many requests per second are we talking about? What are the storage, bandwidth, those kind of things? Well, we came up with the system API. Now, I normally came up with the layer first. So if you go back, the layer kind of looks like this. So, the client, or it doesn't, I didn't really draw a graph, but, you can think about anything database related is database layer, and all of user upload a video, there's a queue, processing queue, and then kind of like a workflow, save the data into DB. This is a data layer, those are application layer, and then those are on the left part is a presentation layer. So I suggest you to read this since I made it free here. And database schema, detailed component design, metadata sharding, video dedupe, load balancing, caching, CDN. Yeah, it's a pretty well written. So a few key terminologies if you're not familiar at this moment. For example, what is CDN, right? So it's like a distributed cache, geographically replicated, so that you don't need to stream a video. If you're in the US, you don't stream a video from a, let's see, Europe data center. Codec, encoding and decoding. So just keep in mind, like Amazon Prime, Netflix, YouTube, whenever you upload a video, it will be basically, there's a workflow, there's a queue, right? There's workers working on the queue. And as a YouTuber myself, I would say, every time I upload a queue, you can say, okay, this video will be processed in about like 10 minutes, and so that you can start editing the video, add cards, add different screens, links, those kind of things. So it will be converted, encoded into different kind of like formats, like MP4, AVI, and also different kind of resolutions as well. So that it can be served depending on your screen size or platform. It can be served easily. Video processing is slow, so normally done asynchronously if you are queue or workflows. Video dedupe, so how do you dedupe a video? You can easily do a hash content like at SHAR, like 256, MD5. Of course, nowadays people will add some noise, shift the video a little bit, make it bigger, smaller. There's also advanced algorithm like a phase correlation, block matching. If you forget about those algorithms, I don't really know those algorithms, but if you take a read, the fundamental is basically Fourier transformation. If you forget about what is a Fourier transformation, it's kind of just remember, right? It's like a sound, right? There's a sound, and then there's different frequencies. So given a sound, how do you decode this into different frequencies? So this is a great video from three blue, one brown. Very good visual effect. Metadata sharding, you can compare pros and cons. So if you shard by videos by a user UID, which means all the videos by a user lives on one shard, there could be potentially hot partition. For example, this user is very popular. People keep accessing this user. There's a hot partition of this user. Or if you share the videos by video UID, there could be hot partition for popular videos. How do you solve hot partition or hotkey issue? This is a very standard thing. So first, you could mention, you just need more capacity. You need to, instead of one machine hosting all these hot contents, you can have several machines do that. So that means you have to add a machine to your existing ring. So you can use consistent hashing. So this is the original paper from 1997, which is very old. So it means it's a classic. So consistent hashing, see the name, distributed caching protocols for relieving hot spots on the World Wide Web. The goal of the design purpose of consistent hashing is basically relieving the hotspots. Or you can load balancing, right? So you have more machines. Now you need to load balance to different machines, which means you need to replicate the data. Essentially, first thing, you need to automatically discover what key are hotkeys. So Redis has those built-in support, or you can implement your own ways. Okay, those are exceed certain amount of threshold. Now it's a hotkey. So once you have the hotkey, you need to replicate the data so that multiple machines have this data. So now you have a set of machines having this data. So now your load balancer needs to be smart enough to know, okay, once you are visiting this value, which machine I need to route you to. So I think Alibaba implemented something like this. Something like this. So if you have, okay, key one is not very clear, but K1 is a hotkey. So now you can replicate it into, so here they just replicate onto a proxy. You can do it different ways, right? You can, but the idea is the same. You need to kind of like rehash this content to a different machine that they carry the same content. So just a note, this is a little bit different from consistent hashing. Consistent hashing means, this partition normally works very well. This partition is very hot, means it has many hot videos. Now you're adding more machine. That means half of the video is in one machine, half of the video is in another machine if your hash algorithm is good. However, it's not really duplicating the data, because for a certain kind of video ID, it's either hash to partition A or hash to shard A or hash to shard B. It will not coexist. But this is more like trade-off with the space, duplicate the data about performance. And another thing, I will make a separate video just for this, is think about how YouTube, Facebook, Reddit implement, or even nowadays TikTok implement this comment reply tree structure, or even those kind of things. How about if people keep commenting on this video? How do you implement the likes, view counts, all sorts of counters? So I will make another funny video about this. That'll be all. So those are the links. Yeah, have fun reading. See you guys next time.